All right, let's do it. This needs to go a little bit lower. I feel like I'm looking up at the sky and I do not like that. One sec. All right, that's perfect. Look at this, I'm on a little bit early today. What's happening? Who is she? Who is she? Oh my gosh. All right, welcome. Come on in. Come on, welcome to my brick wall room. You like this? I feel like the Grinch, 1 minute. I feel like the Grinch in this shirt, I don't know why. Dinner with myself. Dinner with myself. I can't miss that again. I love that movie. What a great movie. Jim Carrey's the best. He's very spiritual now, Jim Carrey, which I love. All right, so what's up, Willow? Willow! There's a dog. Now, I'm not referring to you as a dog, but you know Willow Smith. There's a dog in my neighborhood whose name is Willow, and whenever we walk by, we're like, wait a minute, you know? Willow! I love that dog. She's great. Okay, she's like very well trained. She's a Brittany, so they're really pretty, like kind of like a English setter. All right, let's do this. Welcome to my live. So I'm gonna be standing today for a minute because whenever I sit too long in a weird, like whenever, I don't know if this is normal for you guys, but when I sit cross-legged on the floor, I get like weird lower back pain. It's always happened for me. I don't know what that's about. I've tried meditating, I've tried stretching, I do all the things, and I don't know what that is. So I'm standing for like half of this, maybe 10 minutes of it. When I get bored of standing, I'll sit down. But welcome. All right, guys, so I have really good news. I've decided to make my community completely for free. Yeah, I don't know what that's with, Willow. So I've decided to make my community completely for free. It's not out yet. I'm creating 2 base courses first, and then it will open up for free. And it's gonna be a life coaching community, helping you create the life that you want. I'm going to teach you my basic life coaching tools, and then I will create courses that are more niched down. I will also have one-on-one coaching available that's really, really affordable. I'm trying to make life coaching affordable for everyone, and I will create courses that are more niched down. I will also have one-on-one coaching available that's really, really affordable. I'm trying to make life coaching affordable for everyone, and not just life coaching. Sorry, my brother called. He's not getting on the phone right now. You've got me for 90 minutes, okay? So in addition to me going live Monday through Friday to help you out with anything I can, I'm also going to have that community that's completely for free, and I will keep you guys posted on it. So make sure, you like my mic? I got these little mics online. They're so cute. They're called Hollyland, and it came with a pack of 2, and they came with little stickers. All right, so what do you guys need help with today? Let me know. We're gonna talk about it. I'm a life coach. I've been doing this for 3 years. This is not new for me. Whatever you need help with is the only question. So, love me some coffee. Tim Hortons is my favorite coffee. I don't know, it's just like perfectly perfect. All right, so welcome. What can I help you guys with? Let's talk. My community will be out in about a week, I want to say, maybe a little bit less than a week. So if you're interested in joining a life coaching community where you're going to learn tools that'll change your life, let me know. What I know what I need help with. I need coffee and I can't drive. You're so funny. Don't you have coffee at your house? I'm used to always having coffee at my house. I grew up with my grandpa. He's 96 years old. And he literally has made the strongest coffee in the world. I moved out 2.5 years ago. I moved out in my own apartment, had my own place completely alone for 2 years, and then I moved back just for a couple months while I'm figuring out where I'm gonna move next. So my grandpa's downstairs. He always has coffee. But it's really strong, and it's like literally so strong. We call it black fuck because it's like literally, it's ridiculous. What's up? I need help with my temper and relationship. Awesome. Okay, so anger issues are not an anger issue. Anger issues are a secondary emotion issue, okay? What that means is typically, I mean almost always with anger, this is really how it works. There's an emotion that comes before anger, fear, jealousy. I wouldn't even say jealousy though. I would say a less powerful feeling emotion. Fear is a big one. Shame, loneliness, hurt, right? Feeling hurt for sure. And what happens is these emotions are really uncomfortable, and then immediately is a defense mechanism. Anger takes over because anger feels controllable, but it isn't usually. Usually when we're angry, we actually lose control. So it's kind of a ruse. So if you, I would say it's fear. Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like before we deal with the anger, first of all, I don't think it's a bad thing to be angry. So like, let yourself feel the emotion of anger. I think that so many times what happens is we get angry and then we try not to be angry and then we're pushing against it. Now that's the whole problem also with the fear is that we're fearful and we're trying not to be fearful, so then anger jumps in. So like with anger, you got to drop any guilt or shame or judgment over yourself for experiencing it. And you can actually experience the emotion of anger without getting upset and without reacting with it, okay? So like, for example, I was really mad one day, just really mad. I woke up super angry and I just told I was at the gym with my friends. I'm like, I just need 10 minutes. So I walked away to the group room where nobody was and I just let myself be so freaking mad. And I just let myself be in it. And that allowed me to get through it enough to where I could figure out what emotion was actually hiding under the surface. And also guys, I want to let you know, I decided to make my community free. So I'm just going to put this up. If you guys want life coaching tools, I'm going to do a free community. I want these tools to be accessible to everyone. What I do is extremely powerful and it's amazing. And I want you to have access to a free community where I'm going to teach you my basic tools in courses. And then if you ever want, you can do coaching with me for a very cheap price, but that's my idea. So if anything that I'm saying makes sense to you, throw your DM, just say, hey, I'm interested in the group, so that when I have it out, I can DM you directly and give you an invite, okay? You're welcome. I would love to have you guys. It's going to be amazing, okay? And I just think that life coaching tools should be accessible, and I'm trying to be on a mission to do that for you guys. I just need to set the goals part. Yeah, well, okay. I was going to say, the goal setting isn't the problem, it's the symptom, okay? So what's the actual problem is that I think I don't know what to do, right? So many people are scared to set goals for two reasons. One is that they think they don't know what they want, which is typically an illusion. And two is that we don't want to set a goal because the minute that I set a goal, it means that I have to do it. And typically the way that I set goals is that I'm really mean to myself if I don't achieve it. So many people aren't scared of setting goals. They're scared of how they're going to treat themselves on the other side of not hitting the goal. So they don't even set goals. It's like, I'd rather not even try than fail. So I guarantee my failure, but it feels less painful because I don't have to confront the negative beliefs I have about myself. Make sense? My eyes are pretty. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. So if you want help with that, get in my community. I'll teach you how to manage your thoughts around goals, okay? Ness, DM me. How do you stop binge eating? I set goals, but always somehow convince myself I can't overeat. Yeah, this is the thing, is two things. One is that it's an emotional problem, okay? So it doesn't matter what goals you set. If you don't know how to deal with your emotions when they come up, you're gonna say, screw the goal. This is uncomfortable. I need to get out of it, right? This vibration in my body right now that's super uncomfortable is more important for me to escape than to have the body I want, okay? So there's two things you wanna do. One is understand the actual problem is emotional. It's not about your goal, right? It's that you have normal negative emotions coming up and you probably haven't been trained how to deal with them. Join my community. I'd love to have you and I'll teach you how to do that. Number two is that I probably don't have that strong of a vision. I know that you don't, because if your vision's really strong why you want the thing you want, then it'll override your desire to not be uncomfortable. Okay? So I would say there's two things you can do. One is learn how to manage your thoughts and your emotions, because that's going to be when you're actually in the craving, when you want food. That's the important skill set you need. And then two is really make sure that your vision is clear and motivationally energizing, right? Emotionally energizing, right? So if I know why I want to be in this relationship, that's a bad goal. If I know why I want the body I want, right? Like I imagine myself on the beach with the abs and I'm like so excited about it and it feels good to me. That's a completely different goal than me not being able to imagine myself in a different body and feeling bad about myself, and then the moment a craving comes up, I just have to respond to it, right? So many people, the reason why they can't have consistent motivation towards goals is because they don't really have a good vision for what they want, right? So a lot of what we do as coaches is I'm gonna throw you into the future. What's it gonna actually be like, feel like, and experientially be when you have that body? Let's talk about that more than not, right? Because your thoughts create your emotions, drive your actions. So if you're taking, if you're not able to take consistent action on a diet, it's because we just don't have a very clear vision of what we want and why we want it, okay? How to be kinder to my ugly parts. Accept all of it, right? We live in what's nice about this, so I have spiritual beliefs that help me with things like this, okay? So we live in a dualistic universe, okay? What that means is that there's good, bad, there's hot, there's cold, there's light, there's dark. There's no problem with that. Also, within all of us, there's good and there's not good, right? There's evil. Like every single person, one of my favorite quotes, I think it was by, Nietzsche. Nietzsche says the line between good and evil cuts between every human heart, right? And what he's saying is that it's not a bad thing that you have bad in you, but the problem for a lot of people is we try not to have the bad part of us, and that actually makes us bad, because when I have this part of me that is jealous, right? And I judge myself for being jealous, I actually create more bad, because now I'm a jealous human being, which is okay, and I'm a hateful at myself, judgmental human being. Well, that's the actual problem. So it's like the moment that we can stop having a problem with our normal negative emotions, with the parts of us that aren't so pretty, quote unquote pretty, and just accept that that's who we are without trying to make it a problem, that's when we're able to not act from those negative emotions, right? Make sense? So it's important it's like almost the spiritual concept that's frustrating for a lot of people is you have to surrender to the part of you that isn't so pretty for you to not have that part of you be bigger. Right? It's like I have to allow myself to be evil sometimes in my mind and body so I don't act from evil. But if I'm resisting it, I'm going to act evil to myself and then other people inadvertently because I'm trying to resist the part of me that's evil. Does that make sense? It's a spiritual concept. Also, if you guys want, I have a community and it's going to be out in about a week. I'm just finishing the first 2 courses and it's going to be free. And I'm going to teach you my basic life coaching tools to help you manage your thoughts and your emotions in that course for free. With the intention of eventually, if you want to, selling you really low cost one-on-one coaching, because I'm trying to make life coaching available to everyone. And as of right now, I've spent $30,000 over the last couple of years in life coaching, which is fucking ridiculous. And I think that it shouldn't be that expensive. Sorry, that's for the bad words, but here we are. All right. Janessa, do you have any tips for dissociation? It's scaring me. Well, I feel like if you're actually dissociating, it could be trauma response. And I say it's more responsible of me as a life coach to say that therapy might be a better place for you, because that sounds like it could be a clinical issue. Just keep in mind, like, I try really hard to be respectful of the clinical boundary. I know the clinical boundary. I've worked in the clinical field, and I just try. So, it sounds like it could be a trauma response, right? That's often what dissociation is and what triggers it. Makes sense? And you can say more about it if you want and ask me about it, and I'll tell you more. That's my gut reaction there. Luke, I'm vaping right now without motivation while overeating no-goes. Yeah, well, just notice, okay, and I'll teach you about this too. One of the biggest issues that people have in their life when it comes to motivation is there's two. One is that you're not managing your thoughts, which means you don't have a clear vision for what you want, and we need to spend time in the future. That's motivating. And then number two is that you're probably abusing your dopamine system, right? The dopamine system responsible for motivation, pleasure, drive. So if I'm constantly using chemicals over and over again that are releasing a ton of dopamine on that chemical, then the things that aren't the chemical, the goals, the motivation, the natural desires I have aren't going to be so natural, right? So, one of my favorite quotes about addiction is by Andrew Huberman, the neuroscientist. And he says, addiction is the narrowing of things that bring us pleasure. Exactly. So if you want to create a life that's purposeful, that's meaningful, where you're doing all the things that actually bring you joy and create a life that's worth living, you can't be using chemicals all the time that are ruining your system of dopamine, okay? Let me see where we're at. Thanks for the comments, guys, by the way. I love it. So how do you stop vaping? Recognize that vaping itself isn't the problem. It's a symptom, okay? The symptom of what? Your thoughts and your emotions, right? So pretty much the most clear way I can say it after doing vaping coaching for the last 3 years is the reason people have problems with substances is because what's left when the substance isn't there is a bad relationship with ourselves, right? So imagine, if I hate myself, if I'm being nasty to myself, I don't like my life, I don't like myself, I don't like my body, I don't like my anything, and I'm alone with that, I'm gonna not wanna be alone with that, right? So I'm gonna get out of it. Yeah, that's where chemicals come in, right? Food, alcohol, nicotine, etc., right? So the way that we learn how to manage vaping is by learning how to manage our thoughts and our emotions first, so that once we quit vaping, we don't hate what's left. That's exactly right. The vaping is not the problem, it's a symptom, okay? And when you see the vaping as a problem, you can't solve for the actual problem because the vape isn't itself the problem, okay? How do you get over me? You're so funny. I quit corn for this girl, and it really was helping me in so many ways. Well, it makes sense, right? Now, the reason why I think corn is so damaging, there's a couple things. On a physical level, it ruins your dopamine system, right? So if I can look at every single hot guy in the world, because I'm gay, right? So I'm gonna use the guy reference. If I can look at every hot guy in the world at the touch of my fingertips, guess what's not gonna be attractive and desirable anymore? Actual guys that are standing in front of me that I would have been attracted to if I wasn't looking at all the hot guys in the world, right? So that's a problem. So it actually rewires your brain to not see the beauty in the person that's right in front of you. That would be a great partner for you if you weren't constantly looking at this fantasy online. Make sense? Okay, that's just a fact. It just makes sense to you logically, right? That's the physical problem with corn. Now, the spiritual problem with corn is that you're learning how to literally deteriorate what it is to have a sexual relationship with somebody. So I believe that when you treat sex as like a commodity instead of like an actual thing that should be important and valued, that's your creation energy, it kind of takes you away from your spirituality a little bit. And it makes it harder to have a relationship with somebody that's going to be real and difficult, right? Because imagine, if things are difficult with your girlfriend and you can just go watch the hottest girls in the world for free online, you're probably not going to want to stay in that relationship as long as you would if you didn't have that option, right? Make sense? So I think every substance in itself isn't a problem, but we really want to make sure that we like the reason that we're using it and the effects it's having on our life. And oftentimes they have more negatives than positives if we actually be honest with ourselves. Okay? You're welcome, Bobby. Also, if anybody wants to join my community, DM me, please. I'm creating a free life coaching community where I'm going to teach you my basic tools, how to manage your thoughts and your emotions. And then from that place, it's just going to be beautiful. I've never seen anybody do a community like this before with such high quality tools for free. I've paid a lot of money for the tools that I'm going to teach you and spend a lot of time teaching them. So I would love to have you in the community. I think these tools should be accessible. So if you're interested, what I'm saying makes sense to you, you're definitely going to want to join my community. I'd love to have you there. Okay? Ebony, I recently acted from negative emotions. I think it made things worse. It always does. Whenever we take action from negative, it creates the exact situation we don't want to create. Okay? That's just the nature that's the divine irony of negative emotion, right? Is that it just creates the exact thing we don't want always. So of course it made things worse, but that's not a problem. Instead of now the problem with this is that I acted from a negative emotion, right? And now I'm judging myself for having acted from a negative emotion. So what you're doing on accident is I'm trying to add negative emotion on top of an already negative emotion-based situation. Not going to help you. So the first place we need to go with any of this work is drop the judgment or the shame so we can look at things with compassion and curiosity, or else we can't learn. right? Imagine if you have a kid, right? This is just a good example. Your kid just went and lied to you, right? And you found out that they lied. So the reason they lied is because they were uncomfortable telling the truth, right? So now I'm going to beat them up and shame them and guilt them. Do you think that's going to make them stop lying? No, they're going to learn to hide it even better, because now they have even more shame and judgment about themselves, right? So the way that we solve problems and help people not be in negative emotion and acting from it is by showing them from example first, right? If I can love you even though you just lied to me, then you can learn to love yourself enough to say the truth even though it's uncomfortable, right? So we never want to add negative on top of negative. It's hard though, I get it, because we've been conditioned that we should shame ourselves into a life that's worth living, and that's just not true. It's really, spiritually, it's not true, okay? Jesus does love you, I agree. Mr. Jellyhands, you're right. When you're right. Yeah, I'm trying to quit ice so hard. Yeah, if you want to quit any kind of, you're doing any kind of chemical that feels like you can't quit and it's hard for you to quit, the reason isn't the chemical itself, it's the reason we're using it, okay? It's that when I don't have that chemical, I don't like the way that I feel emotionally. So the solution to any chemical problem is always learning how to manage our thoughts and our emotions, so that what's left when the chemical doesn't exist is something that we can actually tolerate, right? Positive emotions, good thoughts. But when I'm sitting here thinking negative thoughts all the time, I hate my life and I hate myself and I have all these negative emotions ruminating, I'm going to want to get out of it. And what's better to get out of it than ice, right? You know what I mean? So no problem with, don't beat yourself up for, this is the thing, again, we got to drop the shame. It's like, don't beat yourself up or judge yourself. That's not helping, right? That's the reason you're already having a problem with the chemical. Okay, so let's learn how to have compassion and ask from a place that's from our highest self, what's actually going on for us, so we can solve that problem. And if you want to learn that skill set and how to do that for yourself, get in my program, get in my free community, and I'll teach you how to do that. I would love to do that. If anybody needs a life coach, DM me. That's what I do. And I also make it, I'm going to be probably the cheapest, sorry, I got screaming downstairs. I will probably be the most affordable life coach for the quality that I'm providing. I'm trying to make that my mission. Other coaches will charge you thousands of dollars a month for fucking, I don't even know why, and I will do it for probably 1/8 that cost and give you way more value. So that's my mission. So, all right. How do I stop the habit of vaping? Well, stop calling it a habit. It's an addiction, right? I just think it's important to say that. I'm not saying that to beat you up. I just call a spade, right? There's 3 addictions you gotta deal with, okay, with vaping. Chemical, mental, emotional. My dog's having a little moment. I have a puggle and he gets like choky. You okay, buddy? You okay? Yeah? Okay. Chemical, mental, emotional. We gotta deal with all 3. If I understand that vaping is the result of my thoughts and my emotions driving my actions, then I will be able to solve the problem. But if I look at just nicotine and vaping, then I can't solve the problem. And that's why nicotine replacement therapy does such a piss poor job at helping people, because it doesn't actually focus on the reason why we vape. It just focuses on the reason why we continue to, which is the chemical. Okay. If you want help, I have a course in my bio. You don't have to buy the course. Just go look at the sales page, and the sales page itself will give you a lot of value and help you understand. Okay. Make sense? Makes sense. Aren't we good at this? I love doing this. Thank you so much for the comments, by the way. It keeps me having a good time. Valentina, pretty name. Valentina, how do you know if you're overeating? This is hard for a lot of people. Before you know if you're overeating, you have to figure out if you're physically hungry or emotionally uncomfortable. For a lot of people, we've been so disconnected from our bodies our whole life, because we've been taught not to feel our emotions, that emotions are bad, that when I'm physically hungry, when I'm physically full, I still think I'm hungry because I'm actually emotionally uncomfortable. Excuse me, like some water. Okay, Valentina, so the actual problem is that, let's say you get to a fullness, like your body's physically full of food, right? It doesn't need any more, you're satiated, but you still are eating because you're actually anxious about what you have to do tomorrow at work. Or I don't want to stop eating because I have to go be bored for the rest of the day and focus on how much I hate my job or my life. Okay, Dex, you gotta go, buddy. Sorry. You gotta go. I know you're choking, but come on. Go. Sorry. He's very distracting. He's a little 14-year-old puggle, and I love him very much, but he is like so hard to do anything with my business. He's like either snoring or choking. And it's like, okay. Does that make sense, Valentina? Let me know. Also, if you want to join my group, I'm going to create an overeating course at some point that'll totally help you with this problem. Okay? Dylan, I feel like I become dependent on mine because of anxiety. Yeah, well, this is the problem, is that the vaping or whatever the thing is that you're doing makes you more anxious by the very nature of an addictive substance. Okay, the way that addiction functions in your body is it creates an anxiety when you don't have it. So it actually creates way more anxiety than you'd be experiencing without the vape. So the real solution you need to learn is how to actually manage the anxiety you have in your body that's natural with or without nicotine. I'll teach you how to do that, and I have a course on that. And also, some anxiety is normal. I think the biggest lie that we're told in society, and I see it manifesting so many problems, is that anxiety itself is a problem. And anxiety itself is not a problem. Anxiety itself is a completely normal emotion. It's like diagnosing happiness as a problem. Could you imagine? You know what I mean? Imagine you go to the psychologist, they're like, you're really happy. That's a problem. You shouldn't be this happy. It's like, what are you talking about? But with negative emotion, it's been so normalized to say it's a problem that we actually create illness in our mind thinking that a negative emotion is a problem. And then it becomes one, right? You're addicted to vaping right now because you've been told that you shouldn't be anxious. And ironically, that makes you way more anxious, right? Which isn't helping. And you know that, right? You already know you're more anxious when you're using a vape. You have to. It's a stimulant. A stimulant literally ramps up your central nervous system. The whole point of it is to create anxiety. I mean, look at, like, I have coffee right now, right? With the coffee, I'm more anxious. Technically, my body's ramped up. Without the coffee, I'm a little bit calmer. I'm not saying that it's a problem to use substances or drink coffee. It's just we want to make sure we like the reason and we're telling the truth about the substance in our life. And I've got to stop saying the S word because I'm going to get restricted if I do that one more time, I think. Okay. I lost 100 pounds now. I'm binge eating. Stop saying the S word because I'm going to get restricted if I do that one more time, I think. Okay. I lost 100 pounds now. I'm binge eating every. The reason you're binge eating is because you have a poor relationship with yourself when you're alone without food. I mean, I'm not saying that to judge you. That's just the truth, right? The reason why we use things like food when we're not hungry is because when we're not having the food, there's a bunch of uncomfortable emotions that we don't want to experience. And our thoughts create our emotions, right? So most likely you have a whole bunch of nasty thoughts about yourself that's creating the emotions that makes you want to eat. And the reason it feels out of control is because you don't even know that this is going on, right? Imagine, right? Imagine I have a situation, right? Like there's a leak in my tire, okay? There's a leak in my tire and my car's not driving properly. And I'm like trying to force the wheel to drive and I'm like, what's going on, right? Like this is the result. It's like my car's just not, and the real issue is that there's something outside, that there's like a hole in your tire, right? So the same thing happens with your body. It's like, oh, I keep eating, I don't know why. Well, it's like zoom out, right? Get out of the car. If you look at yourself from an objective standpoint, you're in a bunch of emotions you don't want to experience, and food is a result of having to deal with that, right? So food is one way of coping. I don't think it's a healthy coping mechanism, and you can learn how to manage your thoughts and emotions without it, okay? So let me make sure I didn't skip any comments. Sorry, guys. And if you guys want to join my community, please DM me. Seriously, like, let me know. Andrew, I want to join your free community where it's going to completely change my life. And I would love to have you, seriously, because I want to teach you this stuff and I want to teach you how to apply it and everything. So, all right. Honestly, look for a local counselor. Therapy, that's what I'm doing. You can do that. Just make sure you like the reasons. Therapy and coaching are different. So if you want to go lose weight, I think coaching is a better place to do it. If you want to create a dream life of your future, coaching is a better place to do it. If you want to look around the past and figure out why you're the way you are, therapy is a good place to go. If you want to deal with clinical issues and be diagnosed, therapy is a good place to go, right? Different uses for different containers. So I don't think it's a good recommendation to just blanket statement one or the other. I think that there actually are better cases for either one. One is not better than the other, but there are different cases where one is better than the other. Makes sense? I lack an appetite. I need to eat more. I'm not good at undereating. Sorry. I would find somebody else because I just have never had that problem. I've always been an overeater. The only time I didn't have an eating problem was when I was on Adderall every single day, which obviously is not what I recommend. I lost 100 pounds and now I'm binging. Yes. How will you not feel bad about having dyslexia? I'm probably dyslexic. Willow, I've mixed up my E's and my I's since I was a child. And I also, like, I speak Spanish and I can spell in Spanish because it's very phonetic, but when I get into English, numbers mix, letters mix. I literally took the I out of a word the other day and put it in a different word in my life. It was wild to see that happen. So I don't think that's a problem. Just like anything, by the way, I don't know if you've been diagnosed with that, but any diagnosis you get is not inherently a problem. It's just what we decide to think about the diagnosis that becomes a problem. And I think a lot of people, because they don't know how to manage their thoughts, actually create diagnoses problems that wouldn't exist if they could manage their thoughts about the diagnosis. Makes sense? So like, for example, if I get diagnosed with cancer, I could think, holy crap, I'm gonna die, and then treat myself like shit and be in all these negative emotions that actually hurt my body and give cancer the upper hand. Or I can think, it's okay, this is gonna work out, I'll be okay, and be in calm peace, which will let my body heal, right? So the way that we think about the diagnosis truly is more important than the diagnosis itself. And honestly, if you wanna get really spiritual, your thoughts created the diagnosis to begin with. Your thoughts are always the problem and the solution. We are divine creators. This is the only thing that this creates everything. That's our whole entire point of being on earth, is to show up here and to think on purpose so we can create on purpose. And that's exactly the skill set I'll teach you. And I really think if you want to learn that skill set, you should join my community, because not only will I teach that to you for free, but you're going to get so much ridiculous value and your life will just get so much better, like just being around me and the tools I teach. Okay? So hopefully that helps. User, I think smoking can make you gain weight. Do you think smoking? No. Nothing can make you gain weight except for putting food in your mouth. Okay? So that's something, I'm just very particular about the way I talk. Your thoughts create your emotions, which drive your actions. So if you're eating more food, it's because you don't like the emotions you're in. Okay? That's the problem. So do I think that a lot of people have emotional issues and that's why they smoke? And then because they quit smoking without dealing with the emotional issues, they start eating? Exactly. That's exactly what I think. So do I think smoking makes you gain weight? No, overeating does. Why are you overeating? Well, the same reasons you're smoking, because you have emotional problems you don't want to deal with. So whether you smoke or not, there's still emotions in your body. Whether you overeat or not, there's still emotions in your body. The emotions are always the problem if we're taking an action we do or don't want to be taking. It's always the problem and the solution. And the emotions are being caused by our thoughts. So if we can learn how to manage this and this, we can learn how to manage this or this. Make sense? It's never any different, by the way. Sierra, how do you quit vaping? Deal with all three addictions. The chemical, I'll teach you about that. The emotional, this, and then the mental, right? What I was just talking about. If I understand my thoughts, create my emotions, which drive my actions, I can take control over my thoughts and my emotions, which will change my action, okay? Even if you are chemically addicted to nicotine, which is just chemically addictive, that's not the big problem, right? The actual problem is this and this, right? So I want to become the kind of person who thinks on purpose and feels on purpose. And from that perspective, that empowerment, I no longer need to tell the story that nicotine controls me. And that's exactly what I did, by the way. I mean, I was literally vaped for 7 years. Before that, I smoked cigarettes. I didn't think I was ever going to quit until I learned how to manage my thoughts and my emotions, becoming a life coach. And then one day, I literally put down my vape and I never went back. And today, actually, I shouldn't say never went back, because for 2.5 years, I didn't touch nicotine. And now today, if I want to be around a vape, I can hit one casually and be okay with it. Just like this, right? Just like I don't have 30 cups of coffee a day, I can do this and be okay and have a cup of coffee a day and be in complete control, because I understand the actual problem and solution, right? It has nothing to do with this. Make sense? Thank you, guys. So, yeah. So what do I do about the thoughts? Learn how to manage them. And this is what the tools I teach is for. Like, realistically, if you're like, okay, I understand the thoughts now and I want to get help applying that, get in my community. It's a completely free community. DM me though. I don't have it open yet. So DM me and say I'm interested. And then once I release it in about a week, then I'll start teaching you the tools and how to apply them, right? And that's exactly it. And then if you want, I really think the free community is going to add so much value to you, regardless of if you ever pay me. That's the whole purpose, is I really want to have a big community of people getting free value. And then if you ever want to get coaching, it'll be way cheaper than anybody else, because I'm trying to make it accessible for everyone. So that's exactly the answer I have for you. I don't believe in paying thousands of dollars a month on coaching, even though I've done that myself. I think that that's fucked up, and I think the industry is garbage. So the tools are amazing, and coaching is amazing. The way that people have been selling it's very slimy and gross, and I don't want to be one of those people. So come in on goodwill that you're going to learn the tools that will change your life completely for free. And then should you still need coaching or application help, I will charge you, I'll try to figure out how to get you coaching for way, 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 way cheaper than most people are ever even going to imagine. Okay. The best Egyptian you've got. That's a great name. I already know this man is living his best life peacefully. We're proud of you. Thank you. I'm trying to. And you know what? I'm saying I'm living my best life, but it's not always peaceful. A lot of the times I have, like, just because you learn how to manage your thoughts and your emotions, it doesn't mean that you're never gonna have negative ones, right? So again, like, the biggest problem I see in modern society with most people and why they have problems with all this kind of stuff and like with drugs is because they think that they should never feel uncomfortable. The biggest problem I see in modern society with most people and why they have problems with all this kind of stuff and like with drugs is because they think that they should never feel uncomfortable emotions. Sorry, my brother's in my back. My brother keeps calling me. I haven't told him about my live schedule, so it's not his fault. Okay. All right. So thanks, Jay. I appreciate it. And if anybody wants to get in, I'd love to have you in my community. And this isn't like a shady tactic to get you to pay me. Like, of course, I'd love to have you as a client one day, but you don't need to. Like, you can get so much value from the free stuff that I want you to just be in goodwill and be like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like, why not? You know what I mean? I got in this business to help people. And I think that it's easy to get lost in the sauce sometimes with business. Top 3 self-improvement books. Yeah, let me grab them because I have one. I'm very visual, so let me just grab them. All right, I have one in my hand. I'm getting the other 2 really fast. Okay. I actually like this. So these change all the time for me, but I'm gonna pick the 3 that feel called to my heart right now. Yeah, okay. All right, let's do it. So number 1, change your thoughts, change your life. Wayne Dyer. This guy grew up actually in Michigan, Mount Clemens, by where I kind of live and grew up, so he has a special connection to my heart. He's known as the father of motivation. This is called Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. So whether or not you're religious or spiritual, Wayne Dyer read the Tao Te Ching, and he took the 81 verses of the Tao, and he took each one and made it a really simple thing you can read each day. There's like a book you read one day, one chapter a day for 81 days. And I will tell you, this book will completely change the way that you think about life, religion, spirituality, your negative emotion. It's such a good book. Seriously, read this fucking book. Read this fucking book. I'm telling you right now. Read this fucking book. Okay? You're getting ready and watching my live. Awesome, good. Okay? Read this book. I'm telling you. This is like a rule book for life, and it's so good. He breaks down the concepts from a very old spiritual text very simply in a modern society, okay? So that's the first one. Number 2. This is the first self-help book that really sparked me into life coaching and what I wanted. You're a Badass. It's a very simple book. It's a very easy read. It's very light, inspiring, fun. Jen Sincero tells stories from her own life of how she was actually able to create $1 million business every year with being in integrity with who she is, okay? One second. Number 3, so the law of attraction. Ask and it is given. Jerry and Esther Hicks. I'm telling you, like, let me just, one sec. Let me just grab it. I take notes in the front of the book. A belief is only a practice vibration. You can change your vibration at any moment. So good. If there are things in your experience that no longer wish to have in your experience, your belief must change, right? That's like the thesis of what life coaches do. If you are creating something with your belief systems and you no longer want to have that result in your life, that whatever it is, that body weight, that amount of money, that relationship habit that keeps coming up, you have to change your beliefs about it, okay? It's not possible for you to consistently feel positive about something and have it turn out badly. How fucking good is that, right? So good. Okay, the second book is called You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Sorry, I think I forgot to say that. Yeah, You're a Badass. I give this one to, well, I used to give this one to now that my coaching's so cheap, I don't send out books to people. It's so affordable, I should say, but I used to give this one to clients. It's just such a good self-help. All right. Just pray for it. I agree, just pray for it. But sometimes your prayers are answered by knowledge, right? Sometimes people like this, like Abraham Hicks or Wayne Dyer or Jen Sincero, can answer the prayers that you've been searching for, you know? Never assume that a prayer can't come to you in any way that it's going to come. Whether it's through knowledge, through an experience, through an animal that flies by when you're crying, through a number on like the TV that flashes, like God speaks to you in every single way. So yes, praying is important, but also receiving the prayer is the most important part. And most people miss out on that because they have this narrow view of how God should talk to them. Okay. Great question. All right. Throw some more comments in. What else do you guys want to know? My community will be open in about a week, and I'm going to have my foundational courses in there. And then I'm just trying to figure out what else I'm going to add. But the whole point of being in that community is to become the best version of yourself, truly. I mean, I don't think it has to be any more complicated than that. One second. Let me put these books back. All right. Okay. Let me get some coffee. Yeah, the second book was called You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. It's a yellow book. To see it, go Amazon. It's so worth it. Also, if you guys don't know, Amazon has a used books if you click the search a book and click to used, they always have used books. I love getting used books, especially self-help books, because there's always so much especially somebody written in it. I love that. One day I opened up a book. It was a law of attraction book, the one I just held up, that asking is given. Guess what was in there? A $2 bill. That was pretty fucking cool, right? Like, that's talk about a sign from the universe. And I bought that book to make more money. So right? Pretty cool. Wayne Dyer has the I am meditation. Yes. Isn't that so good? The Moses code, right? Wayne Dyer has this whole meditation where it's like the I am that I am. Because whether or not you believe in God or religion doesn't matter. To me, I do. And, even in the Bible, Jesus said, I am that I am. Like when they tell you that God sent you, tell them that I am sent you, the great I am. And the whole thing with the I am is that I am God, right? It's right everywhere. It's very interesting. So I do believe that we all have a piece of divinity within us. And when we say the words I am, we're literally saying God, and then whatever you put after that's very important. So whenever you say I am something, very important spiritually to make sure that what comes after is something you want to create for yourself. Okay. Wes Woodson, how to get in life coaching? Great question. I always wanted to help people. I had 26 different jobs. I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and then I got through this really bad depression in 2019. So I'm like, okay, I need to figure my shit out. So I went to go get my degree in psychology. I'm like, this will be helpful, right? I want to help people, and I need to help myself first. Started working in a psych hospital. I realized very quickly that I didn't want to do clinical work. I didn't want the clinical tools. So I kind of begrudgingly stumbled into the world of life coaching because I thought it wasn't real and it was fake and blah, blah, blah. And I fell in love with it. And ever since then, I'm like, this is what I want to do. I get to start a business, create a business, and I get to help people with mental health. It's totally the perfect field for me. The clinical world, therapy, things like that, it's fine, it's good. It's just not what I wanted. It's different than what I want. So after I got my 4-year in psych and worked in the psych hospital, I got a certification in coaching, which taught me a lot more than either of those things did combined. And then I decided this is it. So I just started literally helping people in whatever capacity I could. And ever since then, I've been learning how to do business while simultaneously coach people. So that's it. It's been about 3 years. I quit vaping once for 2 years and started again. What advice to quit this from? Just make sure it aligns with your values. If you're vaping, it's because there's a part of you that believes your life's better with it. If you didn't believe that, it wouldn't be true. You wouldn't be vaping, right? If I sincerely didn't believe that my life was better with this in it, then I wouldn't have it in it. That's just a fact. It's very simple to me. So what I'd find out is figure out the future life that you have, the best version of your life for yourself, and ask yourself, is addiction a part of that? And there's no right or wrong answer. If the best version of you is still using nicotine, that's not a problem. Just make sure that you like the way you're using it. For my example, right? Like, I'm a life coach. The best version of my life is where I'm not dependent on anything, right? No substance, no financial strain, no anything, no other people. Like, I want to be my own independence. That's, I think, what being a divine creator is all about, and a life coach especially. So I just decided that nicotine can't control me. So I still use nicotine in my life sometimes, by the way. I'll hit a cigar, I'll go to cigar night, I'll hit a vape at a party, not a big deal. It doesn't control me, right? It creates no results I don't want. I have no negative results over it. So maybe I'll get to a place where I don't agree with that anymore. I'm playing with like not drinking alcohol anymore right now in my life. But yeah, you just want to find out, what are your values? What do you want with your life? And does this thing that I'm doing every single day align with that vision? But the problem for most people is they don't have a vision. So it's like, I'm just walking around life aimlessly. I don't really like my life. And right now vaping's great because, like, I don't know what else to do, right? So a lot of people are scared to create a vision for themselves, and that's why they'd rather, just keep doing the thing they're doing that's not serving them. So that's all. I wish I could cut off my emotions for this other person, but it's just dragging. The reason your emotions are dragging is because of what you're thinking, right? So make sure you like the thoughts. A lot of people, they've been stuck in a perpetual cycle of grief for 30 years because they have thoughts that aren't actually going to ever stop creating grief. So make sure that that's right. Like, for example, let's say that somebody broke up with you and you believe now that that wasn't supposed to happen. Well, whenever I have a thought that argues with reality, because it did happen, I'm going to just suffer indefinitely. One of my favorite spiritual teachers, Byron Katie, she says, "What's the thought you're believing that's bringing you out of heaven?" And she also says, another great quote, "When I argue with reality, would, could, should type of thoughts, right? Would, could, should, those thoughts argue with reality because they're literally trying to go up against what's actually true right now. I lose, but only 100% of the time." So let's say it again. When I argue with reality, I lose, but only 100% of the time. Very good quote. So if you find yourself sitting here in anguish thinking any would, could, should thoughts, well, those thoughts aren't serving you, and those thoughts are the problem, not the relationship ending. Makes sense? Wes Woodson, thanks for answering the question. I talk fast. Yes, I talk fast with or without the coffee, but you're totally right. Wes, by the way, anybody who wants to join my community, I'd love to have you. I'm creating a life coaching community for anybody who wants to get life coaching tools. The community itself will be free, and I will teach you my basic courses. I will give you high access to me. We're going to create a community of people who want to learn this and create better lives. That's as simple as it needs to be. In addition, if you ever want to do coaching with me, I don't know if you want to or not, and it's okay if you don't. You can just come for the free community, and I genuinely want you there. Whether or not you have any intention of buying anything, then you can always do coaching with me, and I'm trying to figure out a package that's going to be really affordable for everyone, to get you really high touch and high access coaching, okay? Thank you for the follow, by the way, guys. Thank you. Sloth, motivation is better than discipline. I don't agree with that. I think that motivation leads to discipline. So I'm motivated all the time to go after my dreams. I think that the problem is that people think that motivation is a positive emotion, which it doesn't feel good most of the time. So you have to be motivated to be disciplined. If I'm not motivated, I can't be disciplined. It's like one can't exist without the other. Does that make sense? So it's not like I have to feel good all the time and happy, but I have to have a reason to be motivated, which isn't always positive. It's like, hey, I'd rather go to this job right now, even though I don't want to today, because I'd rather be in a house than be on the street, homeless. You're still motivated, just not motivated by positive reasons. So I think a lot of people in the self-help world say like, oh, discipline's so important. It's like, well, yeah, but you can't be motivated, discipline without motivation. It's just not gonna happen. If you're not disciplined, it's because you have a lack of motivation. If you are disciplined, you have to be motivated to be disciplined. It just doesn't make sense to me logically. So I just think the issue actually for a lot of people is that they think that their discipline should feel good all the time when it actually doesn't, right? So nothing to do with motivation. Just be careful with that. I don't think it's a belief that serves people to compare the two or say that one is exclusive, because they aren't. Valid, I never thought of it like that. Yes. What can help with overeating? Feeling your emotions, right? So here's the full picture, Carolina. And if you're serious about that question, join my free community. Right now it's not available, so you just have to DM me and say you're interested, and then I will DM you when I open it, and then you'll get an invite, okay? Overeating is an under-feeling problem, okay? And what that means is when I have thoughts, they create my emotions, drive my actions. Okay, so every single time that I'm eating more food than my body needs, it's because of the emotion I'm experiencing, right? So for a lot of people, the actual problem is that I physically am so disconnected from my body, hunger and emotionally, that I don't know when I'm hungry. So a lot of people are mistaking emotional discomfort, which is like here, anxiety, ickiness, with physical hunger, which is always here, right? So one of the skills I teach people is like, let's learn how to connect back to our body again, okay? That's what needs to happen before we can do any overeating stuff. Because right now you need to know what's emotional and what's physical hunger. Make sense? So if you want to learn more about that, DM me, please. And I would love to invite you in my community. I'm going to teach you my basic skill set of tools, totally for free. And then every month I'm going to add on to that. And I will do courses like this and things like that. So it's going to be really good. Okay? I'm struggling to find direction. Yes, okay. F my a-hole, please. What a great name. I almost said it, but I'll get banned. I love that name. I'm not offended. All right, yes. The answer is yes. Okay. Sorry, sometimes I throw myself off being stupid. All right, wait, where is it? I'm struggling to find direction. That was the question. Here we are, we're back. All right, here's what I want to offer to you, is that you probably know what you want more than you're letting on, okay? So let's do a quick exercise. Everyone here, let's do it. Would you rather have $1 million or $0? $1 million. Would you rather have a car that's awesome, that's like super cool and has all the features, or a piece of shit that barely rolls, right? Awesome car. Would you rather have a partner that's so madly in love with you that like you're going to Iceland and watching the Northern Lights, or would you rather be single right now and hating yourself? Option one, right, for most people. Would you rather have a dog or not have a dog right now? Okay, you could probably answer that question. Would you rather have a job you care about or be completely like in a job you hate, right? So what I want to show you is that if you ask yourself big questions like that, you actually know what you want most of the time. The problem with most people is we get so lost in the details, right? You don't need all the details. You don't need to say in 10 years, I want to be a life coach doing this niche with this course, with this. You're going to get lost. You'll get stuck, right? That's overwhelming, and then you feel stuck, right? So just give yourself the biggest vision you can give for yourself right now without it getting too scary. And sometimes the best vision we can give to ourselves is, I don't like this job for these reasons, and I'd like to find a job that feels better to me. That's all you need, right? So I have this concept called passion greed, right? It's like, most people are living their life like this. Until I know what I want and exactly what it looks like, I'm going to tell myself the story that I'm lost. When in reality, there's actually a lot of things you know that you would like right now that you could do for yourself, but because you don't have the exact vision and you know the exact way how, you tell yourself you're stuck. So I don't believe you're actually stuck. I'm not saying that to invalidate your situation, but I want you to challenge that belief that I'm stuck. And if you can challenge that belief, you'll see that you're not stuck. And then you'll be able to get unstuck just because you changed your belief. Remember what Abraham Hicks said in the law of attraction, right? If you don't like the results you're getting in life, you have to change the way you're thinking about your life, and then you'll get new results, okay? Make sense? And if you want, by the way, getting unstuck is one of the things I'm absolutely gonna help you with in the community. So join my free community. It's not up yet. So right now, all you can do is DM me and say, Andrew, I like the idea of your community. Like, why would I not wanna join that? DM me so that when I open it, you're gonna get an invite directly, okay? And you're gonna get so much amazing value. All right, DM me, I'd love to have you. All right. Thanks, Jenna, baby. Keep going. I'm like the worst dancer in the whole fucking world. And it's crazy. I've gone to so many music festivals and danced for hours and days and hours, and I've never gotten anywhere. So that goes to show that just because you're practicing doesn't mean that you're going to be better. Perfect practice makes perfect. All right. I've tried books, cold turkey, weaning myself off, and I always come back. Yes, the reason you're having an issue is because you haven't changed your thoughts and your emotional experience surrounding vaping, okay? So there's 3 addictions when it comes to nicotine. There's the chemical, that's the one everybody knows about, the nicotine itself. That's not the actual problem, though. The actual problem is the mental and the emotional. If I can learn how to manage my thoughts and my emotions around vaping, then when it comes to quitting, it's not a big deal. And if that sounds totally far-fetched to you, go to my link in my bio and click on the link that says Escape the Vape and read through that page. It'll help you. How to get over a breakup? Yes. 2 things. One is that you should allow this is the hard thing, is that depending on your specific situation, I give you a different answer, right? It's a nuanced or a very detailed question. So I'm gonna give you both, and then you decide what's best for you. Number 1 is just let yourself feel the emotions. A lot of the times, the problem that people have with their life is that they just think that their emotions shouldn't last as long as they do. So let yourself be uncomfortable. Let yourself feel all the crap, right? It took me I'm not saying that this has to be true for you, but it took me about 5 years to really process through emotions from somebody that I loved. Not a big deal. Okay, grief is not linear, and it's okay to grieve a relationship that's lost, even if they're not passed away. It's a relationship and it's a future you thought you'd have, and now you have to grieve the version of the future that you thought you'd have, right? So that's my first answer. Now the second answer I'd have is make sure you're not believing things about that aren't true, that are hurting you. For example, if somebody breaks up with you and you decide to believe anything about yourself because of that, not a good thing to do. What I mean is that if you choose to believe that you were wrong, you should have done things differently, you're not worthy enough, would, could, should thoughts, remember, not going to serve you, okay? So in addition to allowing yourself to feel the normal emotions that come up, make sure you're not creating additional emotions that are going to not serve you because of your belief systems around the event. Make sense? What's that mean to you? You got it? All right. Yes. I've been trying to, yes. So if you guys are trying to quit vaping, go to the Escape the Vape link in my bio and just read through that, okay? It would really help you. This is my main niche for 2 years, is helping people quit vaping, and truly it was just the first step of what I wanted to help people with. That's why I'm doing this more broad community, but I've maxed out that skill tree. If you want help quitting vaping, I am the person to come to, and my course is amazing. And if you're not ready for the course, you can always go to the Quit Vaping podcast, which is my podcast. It's literally like the top 2% in the world of podcasts. It's fucking fire, so either one will be good. Okay, so Jordan, for me, it's because all my friends have them. So it's not that. So this is the problem. This is what I'll teach you, by the way, Jordan, is if my circumstances, right, the factual events in my life create my results, then I'm screwed because I can't change the facts, right? So if the reason that I'm vaping is because the sky is blue or because there's a person next door who vapes, then I can never stop. I'm just going to have to always vape because that person always vapes and they're not going to quit. So how can I quit? The sky's always going to be blue. So how can I, right? You get lost in this disempowerment cycle. Not a good idea. So what you actually have to recognize is that your thoughts are the problem. If I choose to believe that because other people in the world vape, then I always need to vape, well, then I'm choosing to vape because of my own thoughts, not because other people vape. Okay, so one of the main skill sets I'll teach you, regardless of what we're working on, this is why the community is going to be so helpful, is I'm going to teach you how to separate out your facts from your thoughts. And that's so helpful because knowing that you're the one choosing to vape because of what you're choosing to believe about it and in reference to your friends, that gives you all your power back. And then you don't have to feel so disempowered. And this work's all about empowerment, right? Your thoughts create your reality. Nothing outside of you does. My dad still smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Guess who doesn't smoke cigarettes anymore? Me. My brother still vapes. Guess who doesn't vape anymore? Me. Because I stopped believing that somebody else's nicotine problem had to become my own. And that was it. So question your thoughts on that. It'll serve you greatly. Okay? Yeah. And Jordan, if you want help doing that, by the way, join my community. DM me. It's not available yet, the community. It's going to be in about a week. But DM me and be like, hey, I want to join your community. I'd love to have you. And I'll teach you my basic tools so you can actually learn and apply this work. That's exactly what you're going to get out of the community. And it'll be free. And if you need additional help, I'll find a way to help you. Okay? Because I do care about you. And this is the niche I'm very confident I can help you with. For me, vaping was a control issue. I felt no control with it. Abuse. Yeah, of course, right? That makes sense. You have all these emotions, right? Well, it wasn't necessarily a control issue. It's an emotional issue still, right? You still want to give credit to the emotions, right? I'm thinking that I have no control. I feel disempowered. Vaping feels good to avoid the negative emotions. So you're still having a negative emotion issue, right? So just don't allow yourself to say it was a control issue because you do have control over your emotions. But the control that you chose to have over the negative emotions you were experiencing was to avoid them with nicotine. Make sense? Tony, good morning. Tony, hey, good news, Tony. I decided to make my community free. So I want everyone to be able to have access to my life coaching tools for free. I think that feels like the most altruistic and spiritual move for me. And then if anybody ever wants to take them deeper, they can do coaching with me for a very affordable price. But regardless of you do coaching, the tools are going to be, the community's going to be, I'm planning on making this a whole life coaching movement. It's going to be so good. So anyways, drink more soju. Is that, I don't know what soju is. Is that the Korean beer? Is that right? Yes. Awesome, Tony. I'd love to have you. I've been vaping for 8 years and I've been quit before I felt. Yeah, if you fell back into it, it's because your thoughts changed, right? Your thoughts went back to somebody like a vape. This is as simple as it needs to be, you guys. If I'm taking an action like vaping or drinking alcohol, it's because I'm thinking thoughts like somebody who does those actions. So how do I stop taking an action? Stop thinking thoughts and believing beliefs that the type of person who vapes would believe, right? So if I don't vape, right, what do I believe? I don't need nicotine to enjoy my life. I don't need nicotine to make me feel less anxious or bored, right? I like my life exactly how it is. I don't need that substance in my life. Those are the beliefs I have. So if you can go from somebody who believes beliefs like a vapor, I need it, it helps me with anxiety, blah, blah, to someone who doesn't, you'll stop vaping. And you'll see that it was never about the vape itself. It was about what you chose to believe and therefore feel about nicotine, okay? That's exactly right. Okay? All right, I've been standing for a while. Let me sit down. And then, we're going to keep going. All right, one sec. Ooh. Let me sit down. Like my legs are getting tired. I've been on for a little while. Okay, one sec. I'm gonna get a blanket too. I'm really gonna pamper myself right now. One sec. All right. Ooh. Do you guys have like a dog and it's like, my dog always smells like Fritos, like his feet, I don't know what that is. There's like a bacteria in dog feet. I guess it smells like Fritos. It doesn't really bother me though. I know I hate to say that out loud because it's probably gross to say, but like, I don't mind the Frito smell. I think it's kind of cute. Okay. Oh. All right, one sec. So that's what I'm doing. So this is my movement, guys. I'm going to go live Monday through Friday on TikTok. I'm going to try to get people in my community and give them tools because I think that as a real life coach, if I want to call myself one, would be altruistic in the world, not worried about their own shit. You know what I mean? So let's do this. All right. How do I feel about incarcerated relationships? It doesn't matter how I feel. How do you feel about it? Right? I don't have a blanket response for that. I don't have a blanket response for any type of relationship. I just want to know what you feel and why, right? My opinion isn't valid when it comes to that. So are you happy with the relationship? Are you not happy with the relationship? And why? Okay? One sec. We got one of these little trolleys coming in. I don't think his name's actually Billy Thomas. Give me one second. There's a button that says block, and right next to it is an add moderator, which is a horribly unfortunate place to put the add moderator button, because I've almost added trolls as moderators like 20 times before. Okay. A permanent account ban. I have the power. Yeah. All right, one sec. I love that. All right. So let me get my little coffees. All right, so that is what's going on. So, yeah. What else can I help you guys with? This live's been a little bit light on people today, which is surprising because I've been trying to go live every single day, and they told me at TikTok if I did that I get more engagement and more people in. So it's okay. It's all good. Let me see. I've been live for 50 minutes. So I'm going to be live for at least 10 more minutes. So whatever else I can help you with, let me know, guys. If you're interested in the community, please DM me. DM me, let me know. I want you in there. I want you to feel worthy and valued and loved, regardless of if you ever end up as a client, a quote-unquote paying client. I don't care about that. It's all going to be good. Okay? I feel great about my relationship, but I feel like kind of misunderstood in this generation. It's misunderstood, Could you say more about that, T? I'd love to know more about that. Yeah. So what's going on in my life right now? Well, it's November. I think I'm going to move to Austin, Texas in January. It's like a decision I'm making for myself, because thanks for the follow, because I want to go and live in my own space. I lived by myself for 2 years. I moved out of my parents' house, lived completely alone by myself in my own apartment to do some spiritual work, And I moved back in a couple months ago because I didn't want to sign a whole other year lease. And now I'm I can just move whenever I want. So I'm thinking about in January, I'm just going to peace out of here. I live in Michigan, and Michigan is the worst in the winter. I'm never going to change my opinion on that. I hate Michigan winters. Can I coach people out of being a hypochondriac? Probably, yeah, because it's all their belief systems are the problem, right? And that's what I'll help them with. Is it for you or for somebody else? Someone's curious. Because I can't help somebody who doesn't ask, right? There's a Bible quote, whether you're religious or not, doesn't have to be religious, but I just think it's a good quote. Asking it is given, right? But unless you're the one asking, it won't be given, right? Thanks, T, for following up with that. Some people believe that they are evil human beings because of some things they've done. I just don't believe that's ever going to be helpful. A lot of the beliefs I have are spiritually based, right? And that means metaphysical and not three-dimensional. And I believe sincerely that if you choose to believe you're evil at your core, then you're going to show up that way. And you're going to feel bad about yourself. So I just choose to believe that there's some beliefs we have that just don't serve us. And we don't need to find tangible proof. The tangible proof in the belief is what it makes us feel in our body. So I just choose to believe a belief that feels better. It's always an option for you. You can just give yourself permission. How do I start a fasting or a calorie deficit? Pre-frame your mind. Have a reason to do it, right? The reason why so many people can't diet is because they think that their actions are more important than their thoughts and their emotions. It's no, your thoughts about the diet is the most important thing. So if I want to have success with a diet, I have to it's not even about the diet. It's about me envisioning my life with the end result. So figure out how much you want to weigh, what you want your body to look like, what you want to feel like in that body, and spend more time there than in the present moment with what you're currently believing. And then it'll be really easy to diet because you're going to be motivated to fast because of the vision you have for the why you're fasting, right? Find a why. Give yourself a reason. The reason I'm here on live right now is because I have a vision for my life and my business. And that's the only reason I showed up today. It really is. It's I have this vision of what I want and why I want it. And I'm able to be motivated to show up every day because of that vision. If I didn't have the vision, I would just give up right when it got difficult. And I'd probably be sleeping in bed right now, So you need to have a vision. One of the most important skills I can teach my clients or people in the community that I'm starting is thinking from the future. Think from your future self. If you want the result, what would that kind of person who already has it think and believe? Okay. So it's not even about the fasting or the calorie deficit. It's about the end result of doing that for yourself, right? And that's it. And then it'll be super easy. It'll be uncomfortable, but it'll be easy. I cut off my narc parents, but I'm being bombarded with people telling me to forgive. Thoughts? It's your choice. Yeah, my thought is it's completely up to you. All I would say for you is the only thing that matters is that you like your reason for having done that action. And then don't let anybody else's opinion be more important than your own. Just make sure that you actually look at your own reason. A lot of people don't know why they're doing what they're doing. So as long as you show up and you write down the reasons and you love your reasons for cutting off your parents, then who's to tell you it's wrong, right? This is all about learning to trust yourself and the reason you're believing things, that's all. Lila, do you know how I can be happy without Xannies and perks? Yeah, is stop making yourself think that those are making you happy, because they're not. Numb is not happy. Numb is not happy. You've got to really own that first before you ever change your relationship with those substances. Very important. Numb is not happy. Okay? Same with somebody who just has Donna. So how do you quit? Great question. How do you quit smoking? Start feeling, right? Because right now the actual problem is that you're having a bunch of emotions you don't want to deal with, and you've learned to just smoke over those. That's literally it. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but if it's not creating results you want, then it is a bad thing, right? With any substance, right? Even if we're doing grass, right? The reason that we're using any substance, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be food, it could be power, it could be people, it could be social media, it could be alcohol, it could be weed, right? It doesn't matter the substances. The reason we're using any of those things is because we want to change our emotional state, right? That's it. Think about it. Why do you smoke grass? Well, I want to feel happy. I want to feel better. Well, why don't you feel those emotions? Because of the thoughts you're thinking. So if you actually understand that those things aren't creating your emotions, they're just numbing over the negative, then it'll help you get in a position of actually asking good questions and getting to the bottom of it, right? So also, if you guys want help with that, I am starting a community, and it's going to be free. And it's to teach you life coaching tools for free, so you can actually learn and apply this stuff. And if you want help with it, that's it. Just get in. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to.
Hello.
Not mean to take you on. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
That's my fault.
hello. How are you?
But I'm so sorry. I'm gonna exit out. I apologize. How do I do this? Oh, jeez. There we go. Wow. I'm so sorry, guys. I clicked the button. I never understand why people are just like randomly talking on live or like doing games and stuff. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, we're here for a reason, right? I feel bad about that. Sorry. That was my bad. I feel bad for that. Sorry. All right. He got you. He did. I clicked the wrong button. What do you want? You know? I don't care. Sierra, how are you supposed to stop using food as your substance if you need to eat? Well, no, that's the right question. You're not gonna overeat it, right? That's the balancing act. Right now, if food is your substance and it's creating an unhealthy relationship with you, and there's results you don't want, it's because you're overeating food. Food isn't the problem; it's you're overeating it. Just like I don't believe nicotine or caffeine is the problem, but if you're overdoing it, that's the problem, right? So the reason why you're overeating food is because you don't know the difference between an emotional problem in your body and a physical hunger. That's it. So it's just like, how do you not overbreathe air, right? You're not sitting here like, or water, right? You're not over drinking water. Why? Because you don't believe that water is helping you avoid your emotions, but food does, because food releases dopamine, right? So it's just kind of interesting to think about. If you want help with that, I can help you, by the way. Join my community. I'd love to have you. Yeah, he got me, Lindsay. You're right, girl. Down 101 pounds? Awesome, girl. So this is interesting. So now that I've read your bio, it's very likely that you lost 101 pounds, you stopped using food as your substance, and then you kind of switched over to grass, right? Because food was helping you avoid your emotions. Now grass might be doing that for you. Makes sense? Whenever there's a compulsion for a substance, even if it's food, there's a compulsion, like I need it right now. It's urgent, because hunger is never really urgent. Really, for most people in America, hunger is not urgent, right? If it's urgent, it's because you're trying to escape something emotionally. Very good to know that. You're welcome, Sierra. No problem, girl. And also, Sierra, I have a community I'm starting. It's going to be out in about a week, but DM me and say, hey, that sounds interesting. I'd love to be in your community, because I'll help you learn how to deal with all that stuff. It doesn't matter what the problem is. The basic tools I teach you for free will all relate to overeating, any substance, finding motivation, creating a life you want, starting a business, money. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, the basic tools I teach you will help. That's why I call myself a life coach, not like a food coach or a vaping coach, even though I used to call myself a vaping coach. I realize that what I do is much deeper than that, much more applicable than that. I used to eat so much now, make myself sick to deal with that I made myself sick not to deal with emotions. Right, and most people are doing that. Now I undereat very badly. Well, so this isn't good though, because it's like, you want to lose weight, to stop using any kind of like weed or anything. You want to create a healthy relationship with yourself. You want you to actually enjoy being around yourself when you're not using those things, and you want to have good thoughts and emotions about yourself. So it sounds like it's potentially possible that you lost the weight from just self-hatred and hating on yourself, and now you're scared to even eat in a healthy way because you don't want to talk to yourself badly if you do. Make sense? The way that I help people stop overeating in a healthy way is like, let's actually get to the place where we like the thoughts and the emotions we're experiencing behind the scenes, so we don't need to beat ourselves up into losing weight. Does that make sense? How to get over jealousy? Try to figure out the thoughts you're believing that are leading to it. You gave me a quote earlier that was really good. What was it? You told me, I don't remember. What was your last comment, Casino? It was something insightful. But yeah, before you get over jealousy, figure out what you're thinking that's creating it. Because there's a lot of truth in jealousy, right? Like, you might find that the people you're jealous of have jobs that you want, careers you want, bodies that you want, and you could actually do things to solve for that, right? Sometimes jealousy is our brain saying, hey, I want that, and you're not letting me have it. So I'm mad at them, even though I should be mad at myself for not giving it to myself, right? SHC, is there anything he's a death coach? Not that I'm aware of. Yeah, his name is Kevorkian. He was in Michigan. They actually called him Dr. Death. He used to euthanize people that wanted to be euthanized. It was illegal. How can I get back into working out consistently from underweight to... Yeah, you have to have a reason to. It's all about pre-framing your mind, right? Become the kind of person in your mind who works out consistently. It's like, what does that mean? Well, look, so this is what's important. Get clear on your vision, what you want and why, the body you want and why, and then spend time in imagining what it's going to be like once you're in that body. And then when you wake up at 6 a.m, you don't want to go to the gym, what's going to happen is the negative emotion isn't going to be as powerful as the vision you have for yourself. It's like, I don't want to get up. It's like, wait a minute, I know what it's going to be like to be in that body, and I love it. I love that for me, and I feel it, and that's going to drive me to the gym, okay? This work is all about thinking from the future results and then taking action accordingly because of the emotions that come from the future that you can create now. Make sense? Yeah, no, Lindsay, it's good that you lost weight. Let's make no ifs, ands, and buts about it. Even if it happened in a way that wasn't what I think is the quote unquote healthiest for your relationship with yourself, you lost the weight. So, but now it's time, like, what if we could get to it's you punish yourself, right? What if we can get to a place where you don't need to punish yourself anymore to love who you are? And you could actually eat food and stop when you're full, because what's left when you're not eating is a good relationship with yourself. And that's what I'll offer you in my community. I'd love to have you. DM me and we'll talk about it. I'd love to have you in there. Although I don't have specific stuff on eating yet, it doesn't matter, because the tools that I will teach you foundationally to everybody will teach you about how to manage your thoughts and your emotions, and that's the skills that you need, regardless of if I talk about food or not. Okay? Okay, how do I stop vaping? Deal with all 3 addictions. And if you need help with that, I have a podcast called the Quit Vaping Podcast. It's one of the top 2% of podcasts in the world. I love it tremendously. What are some ADHD hacks to quit snacking? ADHD hacks? There isn't one. Like, when you want a snack, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now emotionally? That's the hack. Okay? So it really is that simple. Like, the reason you're eating is because there's emotions in your body in that moment that you don't want to experience. Okay? And I should say, the reason you're eating when you're not physically hungry is because you're trying to avoid emotions. Okay? So the hack is to learn how to deal with your emotions without needing food. That's the hack. And I'll teach you how to do that. I have a community I'm building, and I'll DM here. I have a community I'm building, and here you go. If you want to join, DM me and let me know, and I'll give you an invite when it's out. Give me about like a week to finish the courses, and it'll be out. Okay? You're welcome, Lindsay. How to face gym anxiety. Let yourself be anxious and do it anyways. I think that the issue isn't the anxiety, it's that you're thinking you shouldn't be. Let me say it again. The issue is the negative emotion, it's that you're thinking you shouldn't be experiencing it. You're welcome, Lindsay. How good are cold showers? They're good because they release dopamine. So there's a book called Dopamine Nation by Anna Lemke, and she talks about how cold plunges and cold showers, if done properly, release dopamine organically. So it's like getting a hit of a substance without having the substance. So you get all the benefits of the dopamine without having the... And what's so nice about that is it proves to you don't need substances to feel good. So they're pretty good if you do them regularly and do them properly. I think the ratio is like 15 minutes in really cold water, though, to get the dopamine that you want. So, like icy water. How would you... maybe I'm not right on that, so check it before you throw yourself an ice. How would you suggest dealing with rumination anxiety? Learn how to manage your thoughts. That's the only problem. And I'll teach you that, by the way. Jess, I would love to have you. DM me and be like, hey, I want to learn this, and we'll talk. And then I will invite you to my community where I'm going to teach you my basic tools and courses and coaching for free, just because I want to, honestly. And then if you ever want to become a client, if that's something you choose down the road, I'll offer you coaching for much more affordably than anybody else, and you'll already have the basic tools, so you'll hit the ground running. I'm creating a program that's not like anything else I've ever seen. And I would love for you to be in it free and get all the value before you ever make a decision. You might honestly not even need to work with me. I'm going to give you so much free value that you might just be able to skate away with free stuff, which is totally fine. I got into 4 different universities. My mom says she wouldn't help. Should I still tell her? My mom said she wouldn't help. Why do you need your mom to help you to tell her what's going on good in your life, right? I just think it's very interesting that your brain's thinking that. Like, you're not entitled. Human beings aren't entitled for their parents to help with college. Right? Or do you mean help pick a university? I'm confused. How did I get into being a life coach? Worked a whole bunch of jobs, moved to Spain, came back home, got depressed, got a 4-year in psych because I wanted to feel better about my life. Started working in a psych hospital, quickly realized the clinical world wasn't what I wanted, found life coaching, went all in. Doing it for 3 years. Here's my short story. Hope you like my TED Talk. How cold should the water be? Just Google it, yo. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you. I know the general benefits of cold plunges. I just don't know the specifics. So go look up the specifics. You Google it in 2 seconds, right? Thank you for reaching out. Awesome, Jess. I would love to have you. Seriously, you are the perfect person to be in my community. Growing, being there, feeling loved, heard, seen, valued. Okay. Look what I can do. It took me a minute to figure out. Okay, cool. All right, guys. I've been on for an hour and 4 minutes, so I'm gonna get off soon. But what else can I do here? Anybody else need help? Do you guys need something? Anybody want to DM me about the community? Whatever I can do. I'll be on for like a couple more minutes. My butt's starting to fall asleep. Probably because of the way I'm sitting. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I love doing what I do. And I do want to have a community with like thousands of people that are all getting value from each other. I feel like I'm not getting enough love and attention. Well, the place Willow, whoa, you're still on? I'm so proud of you. That's amazing. Are you the same Willow from earlier? Maybe you're not. There's a Willow when I first said. Love and attention comes from yourself. I know that you're like, that doesn't make sense. It does, because love, the emotions of love that you feel in your body actually come from what you're thinking. Love can never come from somebody else. So even if I'm in a relationship and I'm feeling love, it's not because of the other person's love I'm feeling. It's because I'm thinking a thought that this person loves me, and that is therefore my love I'm feeling. Kind of weird, right? So the whole point I'm saying that is that you don't need anything external or anybody external to feel those emotions you want to feel. So we need to learn how to give those emotions to ourselves. Because once you become the kind of person who feels loved and valued without somebody else, that ironically puts you in the best position to attract the relationships you want in your life. But when I need other people to feel valued and worthy, that's not good for us. It puts us in a position where we actually repel the exact people that we want in our lives. Okay. How can we join the community? Awesome question. Thanks, Cheryl. Just DM me, right? DM me and be like, hey, I'm interested. And then I'll put up my DM thing right now. So DM me, just say, hey, I want your community. And then I'm creating it right now. It's going to be on School, the platform School. So in about a week, I'm going to release it. I will send you a DM directly and invite you. And then there will be 2 foundational courses in there that you can start right now. And then I'm also going to do live calls. It'll be coaching Q&A on the curriculum. And it's just going to be a whole community learning and embodying these tools for everyone that wants to join. I really would like to have you. I'd like to have a bunch of people in there all getting value. Okay. All right, one sec. Carolyn, how do I call out of work? I'm at jury duty right now and they want me to close tonight. Tell me your jury duty. That trumps any kind of work, by the way. Jury duty legally trumps anything else. Hey, can I have some help with stop vaping? Yes, Maisie. I have a podcast called the Quit Vaping Podcast. Go check it out. That's the best place I can give you for, yeah. My girlfriend 2-stepped with my brother and I got jealous because I can't dance. Am I insecure? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think you're taking something personally that doesn't need to be taken personally. I have a serious thinking problem. What advice do you have? Learn how to manage your thoughts, right? You don't have a thinking problem. You have a thought regulation problem, right? If you want help with that, I have a community I'm starting in about a week, and my foundational course will actually literally give you the exact skill set to manage that. It's like exactly what the foundational information is for. So if you want in, DM me, be like, hey, that sounds cool. And then I'll get you in. Okay. We're going to make me cry. Like I like being here. Don't cry. It's not an insult. I'm just like, yeah, that's a good thing. I can't believe you've been here the whole time. Hey, can I have some help with Yes, Maisie, go to my Quit Vaping podcast. Go check it out. It's the best thing in the world. Cheryl, you DM me? Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that, guys. Awesome. All right, so give me about a week. The community will be out, and then I'm just going to try to add immense value to your life just by being there. I'm going to try my best. So be patient with me while I learn how to grow it, and that's all I can say. All right? So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. You was kind, you was smart, you was important, and I'll see you on... I won't be live. I might be live tomorrow. I doubt it. I'm not doing lives guaranteed on the weekends, but Monday through Friday, 9 to 11:30, I'm going live. So I might be live tomorrow. I doubt it. I'm not doing lives guaranteed on the weekends, but Monday through Friday, 9 to 11:30, I'm going live. So if you guys... All right. I will see you. Thanks for being here. All right.